of PS 69. I am Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, and this is my esteemed colleague, Justice Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas, George Washington, Clarence Thomas.
We are delighted to give a little presentation on legal sex practices, the normal sexuality of reasonable persons, and the pitfalls faced by young people such as yourselves, all from an originalist perspective.
Honor, sex, practice.
Exactly. As my esteemed colleague so elegantly insinuated, what are the legal practices and arguments that will lead to a normal, not unusual, sex life, as intended by the original framers of the United States Constitution?
Normal, original.
How original indeed! To keep our minds nimble, Justice Thomas and I like to engage in spirited judicial bouts and hypothetical scenarios of role-playing. Today, we shall pose the question, is this sex legal?
Ready for Sex by George Washington.
Yes, our educational drama is entitled, Are You Ready for Legal Sex with George Washington? I shall portray Martha Dandrige, a young lady who is trying to decide if she is prepared for 18th century sexual congress. Any resemblance of the characters to persons living or dead is purely coincidental and not at all based in fact.
Well, George is ready.
Georgie Porgy, I was so happy we were able to attend the anti-fornication and chastity services together. It was so inspirational, and it aroused normal sexual feeling that I have tried to repress.
Normally aroused, yes? Punch?
I think not. I am already overheated from the minister's Bible reading and the flaming words of the Day of Judgment.
Sit. Relax on my lap.
Okay. Oh, that does feel nice. Although my judgment may be considered legally impaired, as defined in several notable cases on the effects of Christian propaganda and alcohol intoxication.
Martha, can we engage in normal coitus?
But I'm only 16, which in most states and the Protectorate of Puerto Rico is considered below the age of consent.
Then I will marry you, and you will honor and obey me. Now, how do you get this robe off?
Oh, Georgie! Have you not noticed the alarming rise in premarital pregnancy and bastardy in 18th century America? And I hope you do not share the common misconception that a man can rid himself of syphilis by having sex with an uninfected person.
But George Washington believed that gonorrhea was caused by having sexual relations with oneself.
Is there no wording in the U.S. Constitution to guide 18th century American teenagers in legal, not unusual sexual relations?
Unfortunately, the sexual practices of George Washington were not documented by the framers of the U.S. Constitution.
But how about birth control in the early American Republic? What is the legality of condoms made from animal intestines?
Martha, are you not like other 18th century Virginians? You have that body itch of knowing secret things. Can't we just fool around?
Fool around? You are aware of anti-sodomy laws, are you not?
But the anti-sodomy laws were struck down in Lawrence versus Texas, my dear.
But you were a dissenting opinion on that decision, Justice Thomas, and so was I. We believe in originalist sex practices as framed by the founding fathers in the 18th century. One man with his wife or mistress and other not unusual property.
In the matter of Martha versus George Washington, I believe that the man may do as he pleases as it pertains to original sex.
As you can see, children, having legal, originalist sexual relationships is more complicated than you may have thought. When you wonder, is this sex legal, you must always ask yourself, What would a young George Washington or a young Martha Dandrige do?
Read my decisions. Read the decisions. After all, I am a direct descendant of George Washington.